I always see these prepper TikToks of these guys who like think they're so good at prepping and like that they would totally be ready in an apocalypse. And you can tell that they've never actually done any animal husbandry whatsoever because you can tell they only like read a book about it and they've never actually raised animals because they're always talking about how rabbits are the best like animal to have in an apocalypse. You should raise rabbits because they breed so quickly. And anybody who's ever raised rabbits knows that that's not true. Yes. A lot of people will talk about how they breed very quickly because they have the same cycle as humans, weirdly, but their fertility cycle is monthly. And then I think their gestation period is really short. I don't remember how short it is. It's been a while, but it's quite short. So if a rabbit was allowed to breed every single time it was ready to have more children, you would have a lot of rabbits. And that's why, you know, the term breed like rabbits is a thing, and why also rabbit populations can get severely out of hand if there's no predators to predate upon the population. It's because they will just breed in excess and overwhelm a like local environment, right? But the thing is that raising rabbits and wild rabbits are very different things. When you're raising rabbits as food, because that's what my family did, we raised rabbits, we raised meat rabbits specifically. You have to think about housing. You could have them free range, right? But rabbits tend to fight, especially male rabbits. So you would end up having a lot of like problems with rabbits fighting each other. But then you also have issues if you are housing them individually. That's a lot of physical area that you have to have now. So you have all these challenges. But then, okay, it gets worse and more difficult because mama rabbits have the tendency to eat their babies. It's extremely disturbing. And baby rabbits die really easily. So like, if you live in a climate that is not temperate all year round, you run the risk of these rabbits dying, of the baby rabbits dying, because if they get too cold too quickly, too often, right? If you're breeding your rabbits on an ongoing basis for food in an apocalypse situation, right? You're gonna have a lot of dead rabbits. And it's gonna really suck because like you're breeding your rabbits as a food source. If they die, you're missing out on the food source. Also, it's extremely traumatized. And rabbits die very easily. They're kind of like horses. They're prey animals. They can die just from being too scared all the time, okay? Your mama rabbit could literally eat the baby rabbit. Second of all, the baby rabbits might die. Third of all, rabbits, especially rabbits that are bred to be meat rabbits, are kind of bad at raising their young. You run the risk of just inclement weather taking out your babies anyway. But now, okay, you also run the risk of having just a really bad mom who like doesn't make a good enough nest or doesn't feed their babies because rabbits are really stupid. Anyway, there's a lot of problems. There are more problems than this. But the actual best food source in a zombie apocalypse is chickens. Chickens make eggs and they're easy to breed, and chickens often are better mothers on average than rabbits in my experience with real live animals. Okay? And that's why anybody who says that rabbits are the best food source, and in the case of an apocalypse, they don't know what they're talking about. Go for chickens.